So welcome once again to CN Professional Institute. We are still on inventory accounting. In the previous video, we looked at cost formulas, we looked at cost techniques, and then we looked at what the disclosures, right? So in the previous video, we looked at our cost techniques, the cost formulas, and the disclosures, right? In this tutorial or in this video, we're going to solve more questions on the cost formulas, right? So we're going to solve questions on the FIFO method and then the weighted average, right? So let's start. So we have so many questions here. So we're going to continue solving our questions, right? Very good. But in this video, we're going to solve questions on only the cost formulas, right? So we're going to solve questions on the FIFO method or the FIFO and then the weighted average, right? Very good. So let's start. Let's start with question 6, right? Let's start with question 6. So this is a question that we are going to solve, right? So let's start question 6. So it says purchases of certain products, right? Purchase of certain product during the month of January 2025 by CN professionals, where so we have January, these are the units purchased and then the units sold, right? So we have the unit purchased here and the unit sold. And then the requirement is we are asked to determine the cost, right? Determine the cost of goods sold for January 2025 under the two methods, right? Under the FIFO method or the FIFO method and the weighted average method. So we are going to look for the cost of what? Sales. We're going to look for cost of sales. Good. So let's start. So we are going to display the question on this side. Okay. And we split our screen as we've been doing. Okay. So that we can really solve more questions. Okay. So let's start. So we said under the FIFO method, we sell first what we buy first, right? So if we are selling or if we want to sell our inventory, we sell those that we have purchased first, right? So we sell the inventories that we have purchased first. I mean, those that are purchased first are sold first. And then we later go to those that are purchased later or are produced later, right? Very good. So let's start. So once again, looking at this question, right? So as I said, the requirement, right? So the requirement is we have to determine the cost of goods sold at the cost of sales here, right? Cost of sales under the two methods. Okay. So I'm going to zoom this one out so that we can see. Then the most important area is this side here. These are the figures we'll be needing to compute cost of goods sold or cost of what? Sales, right? So let's start. Let's start with the FIFO method. Okay. So let's start with the FIFO method. First in, first out method. Okay. So I'm sure you guys have done it before or you've heard something about it. If this is your first time, pay attention. If you've done it before too, it's fine. There are so many ways of doing it, right? People do it different ways. There are so many ways of doing it. But let's see how I'll do it. So I'll put my date here, then my details, then my unit here. Then I would put the unit price or price per unit. So price per unit. And then finally, I can have my total value, right? Okay. So I have my total value. Okay. So let's start solving. So I know the total value, it will be in CD. So let's see if you can copy CD sign here. Right. So here the value here, let me put Ghana CD, the unit price or the price per unit also in the Ghana CD, in the Ghanaian CD. From the question here, the quantity is in kilograms. I don't know if you can see that. I have it here, right? So the quantity is in kg. kg. Okay. Yeah, the quantity is in kilos, right? Quantity is in kilos. So we have kg. When I come here, if I come here, I can put mine, or I'll put my kg here under the unit, right? Okay, so I have my kg and then the date. Very good. So we can start solving now. We can start solving now. As simple as A, B, C. Okay. So we start in order. If you purchase, you add. If you issue or sell, you deduct, right, to get the value after the sale. Okay, right. So let's continue. So let's start. So we have the date of purchase here. So if you come here, if you come back here, right, the first purchase was in January. The second was in, sorry, the first one was in January 1st, January 12, then January 10. So, okay, so we have January 1st, January 12, January 15, January what, 20, right? And then the sales were made in this periods or these dates, January 10, January 14, and January 30, right? So we purchased January 1st, then January 10 sold, January 12 purchased, January 14 we sold, 15 we purchased, 20 we purchased, and then finally 30, January 30 we sold. So it should be in that order, right? Okay, so watch out for the month. It should be in that order. Let me say in order in which, I mean, in order of the dates, right? So January 1st you purchased, then 10 you sell, 12 purchased, 14 sell, 15 purchased, 20 sell, sorry, 20 also purchased, and then 30 we sold. So let's start. So let's start with the first one. The first date is January. So we have January 1st, right? So when you pick January 1st, what happened? It was purchases. In this question, there's no opening balance. If there's opening balance, you'd have added it, right? So you let me see if I can use line to draw something here so that at least okay. So let me see if I can divide. Okay, so dates, then details, the units, price per unit, then total value. Okay. Okay, I think this will make the working easier for us, right? Let me see if, okay, I think I can straighten this ones up. Okay, so there's a better way for me to draw, right? So let me draw again. Okay, so I'm going to do this one here like this. And then I leave it. Then, okay, let me wipe this and then let me change the color. Okay, let me draw it something. Okay, so let me see. Okay, in here. Okay, then limits. Okay, in here. Okay, I think this is better now. It's better. Okay, it's better. We can manage, right? So let's continue. So January 1 was purchases that we made, right? So we made some purchases. And then how many units did we purchase? So just come to January 1 here. How many units were purchased? If you come to 1st January here, if you come to 1st January here, right? We purchased okay, let me change my color here to give us something better. Okay. So here we purchased 100 kg, right? 100 kilos at 10 cedis. That's the unit we purchased. So 100 kg, then the price is what? 10 cedis, right? So if you multiply 100 by 10, they are going to be 1,000. Okay, so 1,000 cedis. That's the value of inventory we have. Okay, then let's go to the next date is January 10. You come to January 10 before January 12, right? So January 10, in January 10, it was sales, right? Some say sales or issue, whichever, or even cost of sales, right? Yes. So as I'm saying, or as I've said, there are so many ways of presenting this thing. You can do it any way you want. Okay, some do table dip, some even bring balance to your far left side. Just do it anyhow, but just understand the concept, right? So the accounting, the costing students, those have done maybe costing probably at the senior high or somewhere cost accounting, probably you have a way of presenting it. It's fine. The most important thing is understanding and how you arrive at the answer, right? Okay, so let's continue. So issue, we are selling, how many units did we sell? Here, 14 here, right? January 14 here. I'm sorry, January 10, we sold how many units? We sold 80 units, right? Okay, so we sold 80. Let me put this in brackets to show that at least we are deducting, right? So we sold 80 units, right? At 10 cities. So it will be at the 10 cities because we purchased 100 units in January and we are selling. So we sell from the 100 units, right? And if you multiply, what do you get? 800, if I'm right. Okay. So even after this sales, you can ask yourself, okay, after this sales, after selling, how many units do you now have? Right. So can you see now we are now have 20 units. If you want to get something like the balance, right? So somebody can do some people call the balance. It's not really necessary, but I can do it to know that okay, I had 100 units, I sold 80 units. So what will be my what? My balance, right? Now, so you can be working or be doing those things to really get a concept, right? Okay, so let me underline. And then what do I have? I have 20 units left. Okay, so if I underline, I'll have 20 units left at what price? 10 cities, right? And that'll give us 200. So 20, we have 20 units or 20 kg at 10 cities. And that'll give us 200. So this is a balance after selling. Then January 14, let's go to this one. You can name it as something like balance. Okay, you can name this what? Balance. Then let's go to January. The next one is January 12, right? So it should be in order. So January 12, what did we do? January 12 was purchases. So go to the question and check. It was purchases. How many units did we purchase? Right? We purchased 100 kilograms. What's the price? At 9.80. Right? So this is what I'm talking about. This one. Yes. January 12. Then you multiply, what do you get? That should give us 980 cities, right? 980. Then, so after adding, so if you should add the 100 unit purchase, this one, if you should add it 100 to, so let me change my drawing color. Okay. So if we should add the 20 here to this one, we have 120 units now, right? Okay. So let's continue. Then January 14, January 14, January 14, we sold. So we can see sales or issue or even cost of sales. Okay, or issue. So January, if you come here, 14 here, January 14, we sold 100 kilograms, right? But these 100 kilograms that we sold. Now, if you come here, if you come to this side here, okay, so we said we had 20 at 10 cedis. Let me even add it. Okay, so it's 20 at what? 10 cedis. And then we had 100 here at 9.8. Now we are selling, we want to sell 100 units. Jenny 40 want to sell 100 units or 100 kilograms. Which one should we sell first? We have to sell the 20 first. I following. We have to sell the 20 units at 10 cities first. That's Fifo is what Fifo is saying. Because we bought that one first. So you have to sell these 20 units at 10 cities. You have to sell that one first. I following. So we have to sell that one. Then that will give us 200. Then, so we said we are selling, in June 14, we are selling how many units? 100 units. So we've sold the 20 unit at 10 cities first. So we have 80 more to sell. So that 80 more to sell, we'll come and sell it from, right? We will come and sell that one from what? The 100 unit, this one. We'll come and sell it from this one. We'll come and sell it from this 100 unit, 100 units, right? We sold this 20. Then we are left with 80 to sell. We'll come and sell that 80 from what? The 100 units, right? So that one will be, we're going to sell how many units? We said how many units? I said 100 units, but we sold 20 here, so we'll have 80. So the 80 will be sold from the 100, and that one is at 9.8. That one is at 9.80, right? And then that will give us so 80 times 9.80 should give us 784, right? Will give us 784. Good. Then we go again. So probably after the selling, we can even check and see if we have our balance. So let's see the balance that we have. Okay. So the balance, how many units do we have left after this issue or sales? So let's try and see the balance that we have left. The balance that we have left will be, we have 20 units. I don't know if you remember, we have 20 units at 9.8, right? Why? Because 9.80. Why? Because here, if you come here, we had balance of 20, then we purchased 100, making 120, and we sold 100. So we sold this 20 first. Then we came and then we sold 80 from this. So we'll be left with 20, right, as the balance. So we are going to have 20 at 9.8. I following. We're going to have 20 at 9.8. And that should give us 19196. Right. So you can be doing the multiplication to confirm. So 20 at 9.8 equals 196. Then the next date is January 15th. So let me name this one. Let's name it balance. Okay. The balance after selling. And as I said, you can do it whichever way you want. Okay, just make sure you understand what you are doing. Then January 15. So January 15 was purchases. So we made some purchases. right? How many did you purchase? If you come here, January 15 here, you purchase 50 kg, right? So we purchase 50 kg at what price? 9.6. At 9.60, right? So multiply 50 by 9.6, and that should give us 480 purchases. So we are adding. Then January 20 was also another purchase. January 20, we also made some purchases. How many units did we purchase? We purchased 100 kg at 9.4. So this one here, 100 at 9.4. So 100 at 9.40. And then that will give us 940. That will give us 940. Then January 30, there was purchase here, the last purchase. I'm sorry, the last issue or the last unit we sold. The last sold was in January 30th. So 30th January, we sold how many units? 80 and 90 units. Now look at what we have. If you come here, before the sale in January 30, we had a balance of 20. We added 50. We purchased 50 units, making 70 units, and then we purchased another 100 units. So now we have 170 units with us, right? Now we are selling 80 units. Sorry, we are selling 90. So if we had 100 units with us, right? I'm sorry, if we have 170 and we are selling, so let's say January 30, it was issue or sales, right? And don't forget, these are not selling prices. Then the fact that their names are sales doesn't mean they're selling prices. They are cost of what we are selling. We want to get the cost price of what we are selling so that we can get our cost of sales. That's why we are, some name it issue price, some say sales, some say cost of sales, whichever way you name it. Now we said we had 170 units left with us, and then we are selling 90. So we have to come and sell this 20 first. We are selling 90 units, right? You have to come and sell this 20 first. Then we'll come and sell this 50, making 70. They will come and sell 20 from this what? 100, right? So we'll sell all this 20, we'll sell all this 50, and we'll come and sell 20 from the 100, giving us what? 80 units as closing balance. Right, so that's how it's going to be. So we are going to have, so here we are going to have how many units? We are going to sell, I said we are going to sell all the 20 units up there, and then the 20 unit is at 9.8, right? That's at 9.80. So 20 by 9.8, we said we had 196, right? So 20 by 9.8, but we have 196, okay. Then we are also going to sell the 50 units, right? So we are also going to sell the 50 units, right? And the 50 unit was at 9.6, 9.60, right? That's the price at which we purchase it, right? So the 50 at 9.60, and then when we multiply it, 50 at 9.60, that should give us 480. So let's bring into bracket 480, right? Then the last, so after selling the 20, after selling this 20 here, and then this 50, we sold 70. But the question said we sold 90. Yeah, the question said we sold 90, so we have 20 more to sell. So you have to come and sell the 20 from the 100. Okay, so that one will be at, so the last one, the 20 unit that we are selling should be at 9.4. So that's the price that we bought that unit, so 9.4. So 20 at 9.4, and that should give us 188, right? Okay, so 20 by 9.4, 188. So That's it. So you see that we've sold the units, right? We've sold the units that we had to sell, right? So we said we sold 90 units. First of all, we had to sell this 20 first. We had to sell this 50, making 70. And out of this 100, we'll sell 20. So that's what we did down here. Okay. That's what we did down here. So we said after this, our balance will be left with. So let me try and then draw small. Let me wipe this in first before. Okay, and then let me continue and draw my line. Okay, let's draw the line. So I hope this time we're able to draw it well. Okay, this one, and this one. Okay. So if we analyze everything here, the balance that we have left is right. So at the end of the year, okay, our balance, the balance that we're going to have left will be 80 units, right? It will be 80 units at 9.40, and that should give us 752. Right, so 752 is the closing balance. Okay, is a closing balance. Okay, so 752 is the closing balance. So this is the balance at the year end. And the question, we should get the cost of sales. So we should determine the cost of goods sold. Right, so to get the cost of sales, you have to come and just add all the issues, all the sales. So we have to come and add this one here, right? Come and add this one. Then just add all the issues. Then we come and add this one. Then there's also one issue up here. This one here. This one here. This one here. This one here. Right. We add all the sales, all the issues, and then we get our stuff. So let's go down and add them to get our cost of sales. Okay. Uh, So to get our cost of sales, so to get our cost of sales, we are going to add all the issues, all the sales, right? So we said January, January 10, right? We sold and it was at 800 cedis. As I said, just what I told you we adding. Then we also had January 14. January 14, we sold two. Like it was in two batches, right? So if you come to January 14, okay, this 200 here, and then this 784. So we just add the two together. So we had 200 plus the 784, right? And then that will give us 984. Then finally, January 30. So January 32, we had three, right? So January 30 was this last three, right? This one, and then this one. So we just have to put them together. So we had 196 plus 480 plus 188, right? We add all, and then we have 864. So we have 800 plus 800 plus 984 plus 864, right? So we sum everything together, and then we'll get a figure, a cost of sales of 2648 Ghana cedis. So this is our cost of sales, right? We just add all the issues. Okay. Now, somebody can also do the cost of sales this way. Somebody can also do the cost of sales this way. Okay. We'll bring, if you remember, to get our cost of sales. So let me divide this. We have opening stock. Here in this question, there's no opening stock, so dash. Then we add purchases, if you remember, right? Now, you just have to go to the question and okay, let me wipe this and then let me do it down so that yes, let me do it down here so that you see better, right? So what I'm saying is that okay, somebody can do the cost of sales this way. So cost of sales, somebody can write okay, cost of sales. Somebody will bring, if you look at opening stock dash, then we add purchases, right? Now, if you go back to the question, how many purchases do you have in the question? So we come here, we have so many purchases in the question. Okay, we have so many purchases in the question. We have here 1,000, then we have 980, then we have, where's another purchase? 480, another purchase here, and 940. So these four figures, right? You sum them up, and then that will give you your purchases. So if you come down here, purchases, let's come down. So if you come down here, purchases, we said the first 1,000 plus 980 plus 480 plus 940, right? So all the purchases that we had in the table, so 1,000 plus 980 plus 480 plus 940, right? You sum all and you get 3,400, right? Then we less closing stock. We less closing stock. If you come here, the closing stock is the last figure in our stuff here. So this is a closing stock. This one here, 752, right? So that's a closing stock. So don't forget. So our closing stock is 752, and we less, if you remember. Okay, the formula, it's opening stock. If you want to get cost of sales, right? Cost of sales is opening stock. We said there's no opening stock, right? Then purchases, we sum all the purchases in the question. We got 3,400. Then closing stock 785. So you just have to underline, subtract, and you get the same answer. You get the same 2,648. So you can do this one out to get your cost of what? Sales. So as simple as that, right? So that's our cost of sales, 2,648. We said we can either use opening stock, add purchases, less closing stock, or we can just add all the issues, right? All the issues in the question, this 800, this and this, sum all, and we get this. Let's go and try the weighted average since we use both methods, right? So let's go and use weighted average. So weighted average, I'll copy everything here. I'll just copy. Okay. So let me copy my headings. Okay. So let's come and do WA. Okay, let's come and do our weighted average. Let me do it here. Okay. So with our weighted average, so let me just make it WA. Okay, WA. So that's our weighted average. So the same stuff there, right? I have my date, my detail, my unit price. But here we can add what we call we can add issue price, because in the if you're using the weighted average method, okay, you have to find your own issue price, right? The it's not like the FIFO method where you use the cost of the goods purchased as the issue price. Here we are using weighted average, so we don't have to use the opening balance or the cost of what we are buying. We have to find the weighted average, and that's what we are going to use as the issue price. Okay, so let's start the same thing. So date, let me draw again. So I have my dates here, then my details here. So then I have my unit price per unit, this, and then I have the issue price. Okay, so okay, so let me underline it here. Okay, so let's continue. The date, the first one is January. Our first date is January 1st, right? We purchase how many units? 100 kg. Unit price is 10 cedis. Sorry, the details. The details is purchases. So it was purchases that we made. Quantity was 100 kg. Then price per unit is 10. Total value is 1,000. So if you multiply the 10 cedis by, okay, let me see if I can put some CD signs here and see if it will work. Okay, so let me try and put some CD signs here so that at least probably we have a better something here. Okay. Why this thing doing this? It's not even copy. Okay. Oh, it's because I've written plenty stuff here. Okay, Control C. Okay. So Control V here. Okay. So we have our purchases. Now, with the weighted average, what you have to know is that um anytime we want to issue, you have to find what we call the issue price. And that's what you use to determine the issue price, right? Or let me see the cost. Not even when I say issue price, I don't mean the price as if you are selling the product. No, we get the issue price that we know, okay, this is the cost of what we are selling. So let me see, you get what we call issue cost. Let me even put it that way so that you understand. So what will be the cost of what we are selling? You have to get it. It's not like the FIFO where you have to just pick the price at which was bought. You have to get it yourself, and we use the weighted average. And the weighted average formula here, let me give you the weighted average formula, right? So weighted average is equal to is the total value of inventory over number of units. Don't forget total value of inventory over number of what units. That is the weighted average formula, right? So we divide the total value by the number of units. Okay. So if you come to this side, the next issue was in when did you issue again? When did you issue? So the issue was in Okay, let me wipe these things so that we can be doing our stuffs again. Okay. So erase. Okay. So we have erased these things here. Okay. So the next thing is January 10th. That's when January 10th. That's when we did our second, our first sales or our first issue, our first sale. So immediately before that, you have to compute the weighted average price, right? That's the cost of your issue, right? We issued 80 units, but we have to get the price. So to get the price, right, it will be the value, that's the 10,000 here. Sorry, the 1,000 divided by what? 10. Okay. And you see, what will be the answer? The answer will give you what? 10, right? So 10 will be, so I said it's the 1,000 divided by how many units? How many do we have? 100 units. So it's as I said, it's the issue price will be the value here divided by the number of units, right? So if you divide this to, what do you get? You should get the same 10, right? So you come and get the 10 CDs. So the same 10 CDs is what we are going to use as our next issue cost. So that will be the cost per issue in our next issue. So the next issue happened in January, or let me say January 10. Okay. January 10 is when we sold. How many units did we sell? So let me say issue or sales. Okay. I say issue or sales. How many units did we sell? 80. And this 80 should be at 10 cities. That's the price we just computed, right? And that should give us 800. Okay. Then we go to the next. So we can even check the balance after the issue. So after the issue, what will be our balance, right? So we had 100, we issued 80, or we sold 80. So we'll be left with what? 20, right? So we'll be left with 20 at 10 cities, and that will give us what? 200, right? So this is the balance. Then we have the next one, which date January 12. So January 12 purchases, we purchased, how many units did we purchase? So how many units did we purchase? We purchased, how many units did we purchase? Okay, so June 12, we purchased 100 units, right? And then what's the price? It's 9.80, right? So purchase 100 at 9.8, and that should give us 980, right? So that should give us 980. Okay. Okay. The next one is January 14, is issue. So January 14, we are selling, right? So we said immediately before we sell, we have to get the cost per unit, right? And that's the value. And then that one will be the summation of the total. So it's total value divided by total units. So let's sum this one, right? If you sum these things here, 200 plus 980, right? So this will give us 110. And then here we have what? 120. So here we have 120 units. To sum these two, okay, we have 120 units. And then here, if you sum the 200 plus 980, you have 80, right? So to get the issue price, we divide the two, okay? We divide this, sorry. So to get the issue price, we divide this figure here by this, right? And then that's what will be our issue price. Okay, so our issue price is 9.83. Okay, and that's what we are going to use in our next issues, which is, what date is that? January 14. So January 14, we sold, was issue or sales. So what will be the, how many units did we sell, right? We sold, January 14, we sold 100 units. So we have to do that. And then the price per unit. So what's the cost price per unit? That's what we just computed, the 9.83. That's what we are going to use, right? As the cost per unit that we are selling. Then you multiply 100 by this, you are going to get 983, 983, right? Okay. Then January, so even still after this, you can still get the balance. If you want to get the balance, what will be the balance? 20. Because we had this 120 here, we sold 100, so we left it with 20. So if like you can still get the balance, right? You can still get the balance to be 20. Okay, so here we have 20 units left here, right? And it's at 9.8. Okay, and then so that will give us 197, right? Which is the same as subtracting this. The same as this 1180 minus 983. 1180 minus 983, right? Will give us this 197. Okay. Let's continue. So we can rename this one as what? Balance, right? And we can name this one as what? Balance. Okay. So let me underline this one. So I said we can name this one as balance. Then let's go to January 15. Let's go to January 15. So with January 15, our purchases, right? Purchases. How many units did we purchase? We purchased 50. The price is 9.60. And then 50 by 9.60 should give us 480. Then we go to 20, January 20, there was another purchase again. So I said we compute the issue price when we are about to issue, right? That's when we compute the issue price or the cost price per unit using the weighted average. So there's another purchase here. And then that one, it's at 100. We bought 100 units at 9.4, 9.40. And then that will give us 100 at 9.40. That will give us 940, right? Okay. Then if you come here, you see that January 30, there was an issue. So immediately before the issue, you have to compute the value. You have to get your total value, right? That's the total cost of the inventory you have divided by the quantities. And that'll give you the issue cost per unit, right? Okay, so if you come here, probably let's sum them, right? So with the quantities, we are going to have 20 plus 50 plus 100, right? 20 plus 50 plus 100. And you see that would be something like 170. Okay. So if I come here, I would have 170 here as the total unit immediately before the issue, 170 units. And then the total monetary value will be this figure 197 plus 1 plus 480 plus what 940, right? And then when you sum it up, and then you get a figure of 1617, right? So when you come here, when you come to the issue price, I said immediately you want to issue, right? Or immediately you want to sell. We have to get the cost price per unit. And how do you do that? I said you pick your total value. Okay, the total monetary value, that's the total cost of inventory that you have after the time that you're about to issue, divided by the number of quantities you have. So in that case, we just divide this 16. We'll divide this figure here 1617 by 170, right? And then that will be your issue price. When you divide, you should get 9.51. Okay, this 1617 by 170 to get this. And that's what we are going to use for the last issue. And that's January what? January 30, right? So there was an issue. How many units? 90. Right, this 90 here. So 90 kilograms. And then we'll do it at 9.51. Right. And then that will give us 855.90. Okay. So that's it. We just have to underline and then we get our stuff. So if you underline this one, yeah, 170 minus 90 should give us 80 units. So we have 80 units at 9.51, and that will give us. So you can equally do it this way. Pick your 1617 minus this 10 here, minus the 855.90, and that should give us 761.10, and 761.10, which is the same as the 80 at, which will be the same as the 80 at 9.51, right? Should give us the same answer or something close because of the roundings, right? So that's it. So this is a closing inventory. This is a closing inventory. Okay. So this will be a closing inventory 761.10 or either 760. So you can also get 760.8. It's just because of the decimals and around this one. So that's it. Then we have to get so we need to get cost of sales, right? Okay. So with the cost of sales, we said we have to add all the issues, right? We have to add all the issues to get our cost of sales. So if you come here, what are the issues? January 10, so this one, So our issues, we have this one here, this 800, right? And then what's the other issue? 983. Then another issue is here. Now this one, 855.90. So let's go and sum them up to get our issue. Okay. So let me write here. So in getting our cost of sales, okay, so we said January 10, 800, January 14, 983, and then January 30, we have 855.90, 855.90, right? So we underline all, and we get 2638.9, 2638.9, or 2639. You can just round it, right? So this is our cost of sales. If you want to use the other method, right, the same thing, or, so we can just say, or opening stock. Cost of sales, we said we can use what? Opening what stock? There's no opening stock in the question. Purchases, add purchases. So you sum all your purchases, and then when you sum all the purchases, it is 3,400. So all the purchases is 3,400, and the closing stock is what we just computed, right? It's 761.10. So you less the closing stock, and you get the same answer, 2638.90, right? So it's either you do this, you add all the issues in the question, or you bring your opening stock. There's no opening stock, the purchases. So if you look at the question, these are the purchases. January 1, we had purchase 1 million. January 12, there's another purchase 980. Then January 15, another purchase 480. January 20th, 940. You sum all, and that will give you your total. This total purchase is 3,400. Then you less the closing stock, so you get the same. So it's either you add all your issues to get your cost of sales, or you do it opening stock, add purchases, and less closing stock, right? So that's it about question 6. CN Professional Limited. We looked at both methods, right? So try more. We'll try complicated questions. There are some questions that blend both markup, margins, and then the opening inventories, right? So all these things are put together in one question. So we'll try some of these questions in the subsequent videos, right? So that's it for the end of this session. If you like the video, share with your friends, give me a thumbs up, and then comments are welcome. So if you want me to do something better, you want me to work in a particular area, or you want me to improve my speed, everything, just let me know in the comment section. So I'll see you in the next video.